Listen to part of a lecture in a meteorology class.
There are more than 1,000 tornadoes reported every year in the United States. While 3/4 of them are fairly weak, and have a reparable effect on people and the environment, the remaining 1/4 can be devastating, taking human lives, and doing about $400 million in damage. Extremely strong tornadoes can tear homes and businesses apart, destroy buildings and farms, flip trains, and even rip a tree out of the ground. Many of you are aware of the powerful effects of tornadoes on humans, nature, and the local economy. But do you know what causes a tornado? First of all, tornadoes form when warm, humid air collides with cold, dry air. Because cold air is denser than warm air, it is pushed over the warm air, and surrounding air currents become unstable, which then usually creates thunderstorms. Keep in mind that tornadoes are born in thunderstorms, and those giant, incessant ones called supercells spawn the deadliest tornadoes. The warm air rises through the colder air, and causes an updraft, which is simply the rising air. The updraft tilts the rotating air, from horizontal to vertical, and then begins to spin, when winds move in varying speeds, and directions at different altitudes. As the updraft rotates with warm, moist air, flowing at ground level, a tornado will form. It is important to note that not all tornadoes come from supercells. As a matter of fact, as few as 20% of all supercell thunderstorms actually create tornadoes. However, it is true that tornadoes that are formed from a supercell thunderstorm are the most common, and are often the most violent ones. Now, do you know where tornadoes likely occur the most? Most tornadoes are found in the central part of the United States, known as the Great Plains. This area has all the ingredients, which are conducive to the formation of tornadoes. There is a region called Tornado Alley, where tornadoes frequent the most, especially the strong and violent ones, stretching across Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and the Dakotas. Incidentally, I remember during my graduate studies, we traveled to the southern part of South Dakota to chase some of the storms. We waited for the storms to develop, and traveled so far to see these storms. This was over 2 decades ago. But now the meteorology students at Mississippi State University are literally able to walk outside and chase the storms immediately. What I'm trying to say here is that Tornado Alley is now encompassing a much larger area. Much larger than from Texas to North Dakota. States like Mississippi and Ohio are very much vulnerable to tornadoes.
Question 6. How does the professor introduce the Tropic of Tornadoes? Question 7. Why does the professor mention South Dakota during the discussion? Question 8. In the lecture, the professor describes how tornadoes are formed. Put the steps in the correct order. Drag each answer choice to the space where it belongs. One of the answer choices will not be used.